Morning, ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to play the Vindicator. Yes, the Vindicator UM. Can you actually have fun in this tank? Honestly, it is like kind of like the SU-152. Obviously, it has the big gun in this tank, in the Vindicator. But honestly, I think the tanks, I think it sucks. It really does suck. And there's certain things about the tank that are absolutely awful. Now, just like any tank, including this tank, that you can have fun in the tanks. You can have fun even in bad tanks, especially when they hold a gun like this. So, looking at the stats, the armor, I mean, the armor's not great. If people are shooting heat at you, then yeah, it does have sort of spaced armor. You can absorb that. But overall, I don't think the armor is actually that great. At just 120 millimeters on your front armor. Your DPM, I think the DPM is okay for what it is at 2,736, and we are running calibrated shells because obviously we're relying on the heat and we're relying on the HE because all this thing has got is heat and HE. So yeah. 14 seconds on your reload, which I don't think is too bad. So yeah, overall, the DPM, the reload, I don't think is too bad at all. The same with the penetration. The standard round on your heat is 171, and then your premium heat is 259. So a big difference there. And actually, to be honest, the premium heat isn't too bad at all when you are running calibrated shells. It also only has 88 of HE pen, which I do think, you know, it would have been nice if that was a bit more, because you do, like, same with the SU-152, you kind of rely on the HE to do the big damage. So your standard heat, you have 640 alpha, your premium heat 545, and your HE 900. So of course you do want to get that HE out if you can. Yeah, your aim time is 4 seconds, which obviously is not good, and your gun dispersion 0.453, which obviously is not good, and literally you only have 2 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty much the worst in the game. And because of how big it is, because of how flat it is, that is what sucks. It really does absolutely suck. Only goes 30 kilometers per hour as well, so it's not slow, but it's not massively quick either. So yeah, you can have fun in it. Of course you can have fun in it. You can have fun in any tank, but with a tank with only 2 degrees of gun depression, you find yourself on literally the smallest of hills, the smallest incline. You can't get your shot off. And honestly, that just changes the outcome. You're always having to look for flat ground. Or you're... excuse me. And for me, that it sucks. It really does suck. The armor, as I've said, isn't fantastic. Here, I tried getting the HE shot off. I thought I would be able to be fair. But yeah, I didn't. I should have just shot the standard heat at that guy. So yeah, you can get bounces as well. I mean, you can't rely on the armor, but you can get bounces, just like we've got from this AMX. 620 block damage so far, and we've done that pretty easily, to be fair. We haven't even tried. Now, how I play the tank is, I mean, everybody will play the tank differently. Some people may sit at the back of the map, because, yeah, it is a tank destroyer. It does have that big gun, and you do have to kind of see this tank as something like an SU-152, to be honest, with like no gun depression at all. 2 degrees, really, honestly, if you haven't played the tank, you won't understand just how bad 2 degrees of gun depression really is. And as I've said, if you're on the smallest of inclines, you're not going to be able to get your gun down to be able to get the shot. Now, that was a bit of a silly shot there on the SU. Don't even know why I even attempted it, but we're going to move on. So, again, as I've said, you can have fun. It has a big alpha. You are able to ammo rack certain tanks as well because of that, the caliber gun and the alpha. I mean, if you could get the HE shot off, you could do over 1,000 damage. That was pretty nice. It really is pretty nice. I do, however, like to play this tank front line because against tier 8s, of course, you will struggle. I don't really play it front line, like right at the front. I do try to just to give a bit of cover for my heavy tanks at the front. I don't like going towards medium tanks. I do try to stay clear of the medium tanks, because if you do push the medium tanks and they manage to get around you, then it's game over. It's already game over. So that's why I do like to play with them up front with the heavy tanks. You know, as long as you've got a bit of support, you should be able to be all right. So yeah, I kind of play it, not front line, I wouldn't say, maybe second line, you know, behind your tanks. And then you can have a bit of fun. So do I prefer this, or do I mean, look at this, he can't get the shot off, and this is a classic example. He has to back up a little bit. Eventually he does get the shot off, and it was a very, very nice HE shot against a tier 8 tank. But yeah, just the fact that he just had to back up a bit to be able to get that shot. And of course, if you can't get the shot when you think you can and you have to move, then the reticle will then obviously, you have to reset it, the aim time and etc. And yeah, it does actually doesn't benefit you whatsoever. So if you haven't got the tank, of course, not many people like the tank, or not many people will get the tank because it is basically a Warhammer tank and people are not into all that, all this kind of stuff. But I would just go buy yourself an SU-152, honestly. It's better. It really is. Excuse me. It really is better. And yeah, I just wouldn't waste your money on this tank. And again, I'm not saying you can't have fun. Of course you can. You can have fun in the worst tanks ever. But I would say that this is probably one of the worst tier 7 tanks in the game. The same as the Predator. I really don't like the Predator. It can be good. Again, I just think it really, really struggles. And there's certain things about the tank that just absolutely makes the tank bad. And again, if this tank was to have 4-5 degrees, I know you can't, because I mean, just look at that cannon. It's impossible, absolutely impossible. But you could make the front sort of you could make the bulldozer thing sort of smaller so the gun can go lower. So there's always ways. There is, of course, always ways. And that there was a beautiful shot against that Caliban. So you can see the yellow bit just under the gun. Like, if you got rid of that, you could actually give this tank a few more extra degrees of gun depression. And honestly, I think if you can give it 5 degrees of gun depression, I do think it will be a different tank. Because that is where it suffers, is that gun depression. You know, 2 degrees worse in the game. Absolutely sucks. It really does suck. But it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on the Vindicator. Do you own the tank? Is it a tank that you want? Or is it a tank that you're definitely going to get in the future because you like these big alpha guns? But yeah, just stick to the SU-152, honestly, because I do think it is better. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.